Page 208, Classical Music. Line number 1. Do you know who Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is? Again, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is. Perhaps you've heard some of his music and read about him in the first grade book in this series. He was one of the greatest composers of all time. He began composing music when he was only 5 years old. Again, he began composing music when he was only 5 years old. We call the kind of music Mozart wrote classical music. Some classical music is played by a large group called an orchestra. An orchestra is made up of many musicians who play many different instruments. Violins, clarinets, trumpets, drums, and a lot more. Do you remember what the person who leads the orchestra is called? The conductor. A long piece of music played by an orchestra is called a symphony. Although Mozart did not live to be very old, he wrote 41 symphonies. Meet some great composers. You've met Mozart, and I hope you've heard some of his music. Now let's meet some other great composers of classical music. Try to hear their music too. When he was a boy growing up in Italy, Antonio Vivaldi learned to play the violin from his father. When Vivaldi grew up, he became a priest. He was nicknamed the Red Priest because of his curly red hair and because he sometimes wore a bright red robe. He worked at an orphanage for girls. He taught the girls to play the violin. Many people came to the concerts given by the orchestra of orphan girls, and everyone said they played beautifully. Vivaldi composed hundreds of pieces of music. One of his most famous works is called The Four Seasons. Again, one of his most famous works is called The Four Seasons. For each season, Vivaldi wrote a concerto. A concerto is played by an orchestra and usually one instrument or a group of instruments get to show off a bit. When one instrument gets the most attention, the person who plays the instrument is called the soloist. In Vivaldi's Four Seasons, the soloist plays a violin, and he or she gets to make sounds to make you think of birds in the spring of lightning, flashing in the summer storm. Johann Sebastian Bach came from a family filled with music. When Bach grew up, he became a great organist. He composed tons of music. Including
organ music, concerto, and a lot of oral music for the church. Bach had many children, 20 in all. 4 of them grew up to be composers. Ludwig van Beethoven did not have a happy childhood. When the boy was 4 years old, his father started to give him piano lessons. He made the boy practice 4 hours, sometimes late into the night. If young Ludwig made a mistake, his father would shout or hit the boy's knuckles. You might think that Beethoven would grow up hating music. But music was his whole life. He became famous as the greatest pianist in Europe. And as a great composer. Beethoven wrote 9 symphonies. Try to listen to his 6th symphony. It's also known as a pastoral symphony, because the music is full of peaceful feelings about Beethoven's love of nature and the countryside. But Beethoven was not a peaceful man. He was often moody and he had a fiery Temper. By the time he wrote his great Ninth Symphony, a very sad thing had happened. Beethoven had become deaf. He could not hear the orchestra play his wonderful music. Bach composers and their music. The Classical Kids series, produced by Susan Hammond, offers a fun way to get to know some composers and their music. Titles on cassette tapes or compact discs include Mr. Bach Comes to Call, Beethoven Lives Upstairs, Mozart's Magic Fantasy, and Vivaldi's Ring of Mystery. Each title weaves the composer's music into a lively story. The Greatest Hits series, Sony Classics, and the Best of series, Naxos, offer budget price compact discs with favorites, works by Vivaldi, Bach, Beethoven, and more. The classic Walt Disney animated movie Fantasia, available on video, features works by Bach and Beethoven, as well as other favorites.